Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, my lovely students at Al-Mihwar International School, 6th grade. Today we are going to continue our lessons for you, Unit 8, Two Heroes. Now we will not start with our comprehension lesson. We are going to start with our grammar lesson. It's a present, perfect, continuous. So turn to your pupils book, page 87. Okay, we use the tense present perfect continuous to talk about action that started in the past and is still doing at the time of speaking in the present and will not finished, so we will continue the action in the future. The rule that we use with a present perfect continuous start with a subject followed by has or have. We use have or have according to the subject. If the subject start with a singular noun, use has. If the subject start with a plural noun, use have, followed by been plus verb 3. We use this tense to talk about action that started in the past and is still doing till now, so it hasn't finished yet. Okay, now let's read some present perfect continuous sentences to recognize the using of the rule. Mary has been studying for 4 hours. This sentence means that Mary started studying before 4 hours and she hasn't finished her work yet. Ted has been digging the garden. This sentence means that Ted started digging the garden and he hasn't finished yet. He's still doing the action. Tom has been painting his house. His hair is all red. That means that Tom is still doing the same action that he started in the past. The last one, Janet has been ironing some shirts and jeans since 11 p.m. This sentence means that Janet started doing the ironing for shirts and jeans and she is still doing the same action till now. Okay, please my students notice the use of since at the last sentence and for at the first sentence. They are followed by time. So, for and since are keywords of the present perfect continuous sentences. Okay, now let's learn how to change present perfect continuous affirmative sentences into questions. Uh, we use how long at the beginning of the question. So, start your question with how long, followed by has or have, plus subject, plus been, plus verb with ing. Don't forget the question mark. The sentence is the baby has been sleeping for 6 hours. Okay, step 1, start with how long. Step 2, exchange the places of helping verb has or have with the subject. So the baby has will be has the baby and continue your sentence with been sleeping. How long has the baby been sleeping? Question mark. The answer will be for 6 hours. Okay, now let's know the difference between using since and for with the present perfect continuous sentences. For we use it with a period of time. تحديد طول المدة الزمنية التي استمر بها حدوث الفعل. For 3 hours. For 6 days. for 1 year, for many hours. Notice here that we use number followed by time. 3 hours, 6 days, 1 year, many hours. 4 يتبعها رقم زائد زمن لتحديد مدة حدوث الفعل. Since, we use since to point the time. تحديد متى بدأ الفعل. We use since with since yesterday, since last month, since 2012, since 2 o'clock. We point the time after using since. Now notice the words o'clock and hours. We use o'clock with since and hours with for. Don't forget this note. It's so important to recognize these words. Okay, now my students, go to your workbook, page 74, to practice the rule together. Write questions for the answers. Number 1, the baby has been sleeping for 6 hours. To write a question for this sentence, step 1, start with how long. Step 2, exchange the places of helping verb has with the subject baby and continue the sentence. So, how long has the baby been sleeping? Don't forget the question mark. Number 2, the boys have been arguing all afternoon. Step 1, start with how long, then exchange the place of have with a subject the boys. So it will be how long have the boys been arguing. Notice here that we have used has with sentence 1 and have with second one, because the subject in sentence 1 is singular, baby, baby has, and the subject in second sentence is plural, the boys. We use have with plural nouns. Now let's do exercise number 3. Complete the sentences with for or since. Number 1, Uncle John has been flying planes for 10 years. We have number and time, 10 years. So we must use for. Number 2, the girls have been playing tennis since 2 o'clock. Notice the word here, o'clock. So we must use since with o'clock. Number 3, we have been living in our apartment since October. We have just appoint the time, October. Mrs. Morris has been working in this school 9 months. We have number and time, so we must use for with this sentence. This is the end of our lesson today. So please check your pupils book and workbook and revise the rule. Thank you very much.